We are the Mississippi Municipal League. We're a private association of municipal elected officials. We represent 299 cities, towns, and villages across the state of Mississippi. We provide training and support for them as an elected official. We also advocate at the Capitol and at the federal level for legislation that will help them do their job. Probably the biggest issue is a crumbling infrastructure and less revenue to support what they need to do at the local level. So we're constantly looking for grant opportunities, new sources of revenue and funding to help them deal with their water, sewer, and transportation infrastructure at the local level and to provide the level of service that they need to provide to the citizens who elected them.
I think it's about the same issue facing municipalities across the United States, and it comes down to funding. There's only so much money to go around. You have to sometimes pick and choose which programs you're going to be able to fund.
A big issue is the joint state-county work program. Tell us about that.
That program involved about 30 counties, and several of the municipalities within those counties were able to utilize inmate labor to perform services such as litter pickup, grass cutting, maintenance of vehicles, that kind of thing. And that program will end August the 1st, and it's going to be a bad impact for several of our communities that utilize this free labor to make their community better. They'll have to replace that labor, they will have to hire full-time employees and pay salary and benefits. So it's going to be a huge loss of revenue for them.
That is one of those that it seems when you look at the fundamentals of it, it's more of a political issue than a money issue. You know, they say that it's going to save them a little over $3 million by not having to pay out that $20 a day, but they don't sit there and take into account what it's going to cost them to house them themselves. And it's just, I can't understand why they would want to do away with that program when it's been so beneficial to so many communities for so long.
Well, I think we'd all say probably infrastructure and funding. We struggle for dollars to pay for streets, water, sewer, and anything else. You know, we're pretty much maxed on all our budgets, and we've got our taxpayers paying about all they really want to pay or can pay. So trying to continue to find funds to pay for these things are one of our biggest things.
What's the link between infrastructure and economic development and jobs?
Well, nobody wants to come ride on a rough road, or the sewer doesn't work, or the water doesn't come on, and constantly having problems with that. So it all just goes hand in hand.
Well, I think our number one challenge is going to be infrastructure. Right now, it's one of the bigger things that we're having problems with. Of course, you know, you heard Jackson being the biggest city in the state of Mississippi, but all of us, small town villages, we're all facing those things, and funding those mechanisms is what's been really difficult, and trying to explain it to our residents there that the money is not there as it was in the past. It's kind of hard for them to vision that there is no money available, and then for the leaders to try and do something with, you know, with virtually nothing to do it with. So I would think right now infrastructure is just probably one of our biggest concerns in our municipalities right now.
Good morning. Thank you for letting me be here this morning. We have a couple of events that are going on. It seems like every day we do. I'll leave here at 9:30. We'll get together with our Oyster Council here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. This was the seafood capital of the world, as many of us remember, and it will be again. We're going to make sure that we restore this Gulf, and that the shrimp, the oysters, the seafood that we've enjoyed for so many years that went all over the world will do so again. And then after that, down in Gulfport, Mississippi, with I better not say governor, with Mayor Billy Hughes. Mayor Billy Hughes and I will be expanding a company called Jerry Care. They took over a closed factory here in Gulfport, Mississippi, and going to add 125 jobs. I've been to so many of your cities recently. Seems like just the other day we were in Greenwood, Mississippi, as Milwaukee Tools was expanding. If you haven't had a chance to go to Milwaukee Tools and see the dynamic modern manufacturing there, do yourself a favor and go and see it. Another 130 jobs expanded in Greenwood, Mississippi. And then not long ago we were in Forest, Mississippi, where the most advanced radar systems in the world are manufactured. Remarkable to see that new expansion, about 500,000 square feet there, another couple of hundred jobs that will be grown there in the advanced manufacturing system. And the manufacturing that is done there is so advanced, so important, so secretive, they wouldn't let me look at it. When I went into a large building, they had these long black curtains hanging around, so I couldn't see exactly what they were making. Now, I've never been to Area 51, but I've got an idea that's kind of what it looks like. What I'm trying to tell you is you are doing remarkable things in your cities. You are the lead economic developer for the Municipal League, for your cities, for your towns, for your communities. We enjoy every time we get an opportunity to go to Baldwin, Mississippi, where we were there just the other day with H.M. Richards is there expanding another 300 jobs, making manufacturing for room to go. The furniture industry is back in Northeast Mississippi. As we were with Steel Dynamics just a few weeks ago in Columbus, Mississippi. Columbus, of course, is growing and going and has so many great things going on, and expanding a new paint center there with that great steel manufacturing facility in Columbus, Mississippi. I was very proud to be in my hometown of Moorhead just the other day, as we're putting sidewalks and lights there for the community college so those children might be able to walk into town, go to the Dollar General store, or as we call it, the Moorhead Mall, without getting run over in the dark of night as they hope to get off of that campus. I thank Dick Hall for his contribution to make sure that we're able to do that. You know, we try to work with you every way that we can, whether it's the Delta Regional Authority, which I happen to be state chairman of this year, the Appalachian Regional Authority, CDBG funding, Restore Act that we are looking at into the future here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Tupelo, we were there just the other day as the Americana Music Triangle was being announced. You see, that's a big triangle that goes from Memphis to Nashville to Memphis, Tennessee, down to New Orleans. And the largest part of that triangle encompasses our beloved Mississippi. Meridian, Mississippi, again, just the other day talking about expansion and opportunities that we see growth there with not only the entertainment industry, but opportunities for manufacturing there in Meridian, Mississippi. We go all over the state of Mississippi. This morning I was listening to Glenn McCullough. He was talking about the trips that we've been making to places like West Point, Mississippi, where Yokohama Tire Company is expanding and growing there. The largest facility Yokohama Tire Company will have in the United States will be in West Point, Mississippi. Glenn McCullough, former mayor of Tupelo, Mississippi, was bragging about the fact that we have some of the most dedicated, successful economic developers in the state of Mississippi. They're called mayors. Yeah, they're called city council members, aldermen, alderwomen. The success that we've had in the last 3 years has been encouraging. You see, when I came into office, unemployment was about 9.6%. Almost 10% of the people in the state of Mississippi were either unemployed or looking for a job. It's now 6.7%. And that's not exactly where we want to be, but it's sure trending in the right direction. When I came into office, I said my first job was to make sure that everyone that wants a job has one. Now, I've amended that a little bit. I want them to have a job even if they don't want one. So we're going to put them to work. We're going to make sure that we bring manufacturing to your community, tourism to your community. Last year was the year of the creative economy. 22 million people visited Mississippi. 22 million people in a state of 3 million people came here. As I was toting the casket of B.B. King across that water-soaked lawn of the B.B. King Museum as we laid that great king of blues to rest there, I could only imagine the millions of people that would come to that location one day to see where the B.B. King Museum was located, to tour it, and to see where that great man was laid to rest in Indianola, Mississippi. Not far from there in Cleveland, Mississippi, you're going to see the Grammy Museum coming up. If you haven't been through there, take a chance and go do so. You'll see that great museum coming up. So let's see, we've got Grammy Museum in Los Angeles, California, and one in Cleveland, Mississippi. I can see the connection. This is the home of America's music. This is the place that we make things and do remarkable things for our fighting men and women. We talked about the radar just earlier, but just down the beach here in Pascagoula, Mississippi, the most advanced warships on the planet are made by Ingalls. Not just in Mississippi, not just in America, but on the planet just down the road from. On the other side of the beach, you'll go to the John C. Stennis Space Center. You'll see where SpaceX is testing the rockets that will put man on Mars one day. Right there in Hancock County, at that center where we've tested the engine since the Apollo days. I'd like to say man will go to Mars one day and return safely to Earth, but he's going to have to pass through Hancock County to get there. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a state of wonder and amazement. Each day I get to see it. I get to see the all-American city in Tupelo. I get to go to Louisville, Mississippi after that tragic and terrible tornado devastated that city. The day prior to that, the First Lady and I had been in Smithville. Another tornado had completely destroyed that town. We were opening the municipal building with Mayor Kennedy. We left that day. I went home. That afternoon, I was called by the director of MEMA to say we need to issue a declaration of emergency. It was a beautiful, sun-drenched day in Jackson. Believe me, he said, tomorrow will be quite different. 25 tornadoes touched ground. Louisville was the worst damage. Tupelo, Brandon, other areas. But as I went to Louisville that day and met with the mayor, as we went to Tupelo, and went to Brandon, as we saw the determination of the men and women that are there in your communities. Now, as we will go and celebrate not long from now, the Winston County Plywood and Veneer plant, a plant that I stood on and saw a total devastation and destruction. I thought it was gone. I had the CEO on the phone finally, and he said, we are coming back. We are going to build. In Louisville, Mississippi, there where, again, the modular hospital was up in less than 6 weeks after the storm. Remarkable things take place in your cities. Tragic things occur also. Not long ago, again, I was with the mayor of Hattiesburg, Mississippi, as we were mourning the loss of two of his finest. You do a difficult but amazing job. Now, I try to help every way I can. If MDA has been in your town, if we have helped you with a project, or we've been there for a groundbreaking or a ribbon cutting, would you raise your hand? All right, we got a lot of work to do. That's about half of you. But we're coming. We're bringing help and support, technical advice, revenue whenever we can to make sure that every city is growing at its greatest potential. We want to be your partner. Economic development is a team sport, and you're going to lead that effort for us. Thank you so much. God bless you. Enjoy your council.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, sir.
We have about 67 different topics that we will address during this. It started all day yesterday. It'll be all day today and most of tomorrow. So we provide a lot of different subject matter experts who come in and do training to for our elected officials. Everything from economic development and retail development to personnel and how to lower your liability for risk at the local level. We also have a lot of the state agencies that come in and do updates from the Office of the State Auditor, the Attorney General, the Ethics Commission. So there's a lot of great information for the next 2 days that these elected officials can participate in, and ultimately it's about making them more effective as elected leaders.
The topic of the seminar is budgeting and financial management in the state of Mississippi, and a lot of it's going to touch on research that I'm doing on spending stabilization rules. So it's a mixture of spending and debt. It gives a brief overview of the state of Mississippi, but my research actually looks at all 50 states. And again, the basic ideal is mostly spending and debt at the state level and how it affects local government too.
You've got a packed house here. There's lots of interest in this topic. What advice do you have for municipalities across Mississippi?
Always watch your spending. Your municipality can do well, but if you overspend, a lot of the times it may cancel that out too. So, I mean, you can have a doctor who makes tons of money, but if he doesn't watch his finances, he can live paycheck to paycheck.
My topic today will be ad valorem taxes, which is one of the main funding sources for municipal governments as well as county governments and our school systems. So it's a very important topic.
How does it work?
Well, there's 5 classes of property in Mississippi that are taxed for ad valorem taxes. We're going to talk about how we fund, how we set millage rates. We're going to talk about the way that you actually set a millage rate using the assessed value within the municipality. We're going to talk about homestead exemption and various other things that affect ad valorem taxes.
Mississippi Economic Development Council, and today we talked about how to win an economic development project.
And how are you seeing this transpire throughout the state?
So what we talked about today was really we brought two speakers in, one on the chamber side and one that represents a local economic development organization. And we talked about what each of those organizations do and their roles in economic development and how their communities are involved in what each community does to win an economic development project.
My message to the municipalities is this, that we've got about $16 million in fire rebate money that we're going to rebate to the cities and counties this year, and that's about $5.25 for each person that lives in their city. So the mayors are happy and the aldermen are all happy. In addition to that, we funded the rural fire truck program for $3 million. So that's a pretty good chunk of change to go back to the cities, and they don't have to raise taxes on their citizens. So that's a big deal for us. Now, fire rebate money is normally used to fund your fire department. And that keeps your ratings low and your insurance low, and it saves lives and property. And we've done such a good job of keeping rates low and preventing fires that we are now concentrating on trying to find more dollars without new taxes or fees, just reallocation, to put more money into emergency medical service, which the fire departments run, and they're also first responders. So that's our message today.
It's an exciting time to be visiting with the local officials, and we've got so much going on that we're helping it make processes efficient and effective. We're talking about how we can do public depositories better, pay mode, college savings, how we can do direct deposits, payroll deductions. So a lot of things that we're partnering up with the municipalities on through the Treasurer's Office.
The values that are offered by this conference has been real helpful and instrumental to me as being the mayor over the years. You know, you get to learn all of the latest updates on whether it be law, whether it be municipal use, or whether it be bonds, or whatever it may be. This is the place I think that every elected official, especially in the municipality, should come and attend so that they can take this information back and apply it to their cities or town or village.
You just look to your right or your left, and there's a mayor or alderman or council person that's maybe been in office for many years, where I've been in for almost 7 now. So you look for them for guidance, and then you can look for the Mississippi Municipal League for even further guidance with your issues. You just coming together, networking. You know that you're not out there by yourself, so your problems can be solved.
I'm a relatively newly elected council. This is my 2nd year as a city councilman, and this particular session that I attended has to do with tourism. We have an initiative going on along the coast that's called One Coast, and so in this section some things were identified that we need to look at when we think about putting on events to attract people to our community.
This is my first term. I've completed 2 years, and the training is invaluable. I am an attorney. That's my day job. That's my full-time job. I'm on the board of Alderman and Byram, and it's a part-time pay, but it's also a full-time job. But even with a legal background, I had no idea how to run a city. Of course, I have the help of the mayor and my other 6 board members. At any rate, even with a legal educational background, I didn't know how to run a city, and MML has taught me everything that I know, and I'm helping to move my city forward.
I just wanted to say thank you to each and every one of you for entrusting me with this opportunity. It has been very educational and informative. I want to say a special thanks to my board, who's out here along with the clerk, for putting up with all the travels and going aways and everything so forth as that. A special thanks to my family, especially my wife, for just putting up with me in general. And, you know, it's been interesting traveling around. You get to kind of know people a little more. And the one thing I can say is the gentleman that you're getting couldn't be more genuine, and just the amount of integrity and just it's hard to sum Jimmy up in a few words. It really is. But I am honored at this time to pass the gavel to your incoming president, Mayor Jimmy Cockcroft of Kosciuszko.
Our theme this week is said, cities mean business. Well, I think it's time we express that in Jackson, and maybe even in Washington. I think you could ask Louisville, Smithville, Tupelo, Hattiesburg, all the cities on the coast as we celebrate or remember the 10th anniversary of Katrina, and every other community that suffered tragedies or some kind of natural disaster, about how we come together, how we pitch in when we suffer, and how we do things to help one another. And I think everybody in here would be very proud of the way Mississippians respond to help those in need. But in my opinion, and these are all my opinions, we lack this effort in Jackson. Our turnouts at the Capitol on issues that impact our cities is not very good at times. We need each and every town, city, and village to respond to the issues we have. Voter voice, which Chris has done a great job implementing, was really well this year, but still not used in the way it should be. We need you to respond to information like the transportation information that was sent to us by email not too long ago. It's very simple. Your miles are already there. All you have to do is figure out the distribution from your very poor to very good. If you're like us, you don't have a lot of very good, so we need that information. And just for your information, at our June 11th legislative meeting, only 37% of the cities had responded to that. It's very simple. We need to be better than that today. We should be one of the strongest lobbying groups at the Capitol. Now, we all took a memory little course yesterday at the general session. My memory's not real good, but I remember the governor saying how important mayors and aldermen and councilmen, selectmen, whatever you might be, how important we are to the state. We need to be able to be there as a lobbying group together. We leave too much up to Trey, to Chris, to Sherry, the legislative chairman, and possibly even the committee to do it for us. Now, nothing against them. They do a fantastic job. But as many members there are in the Municipal League, there's really no excuse for us not to be vocal and heard on the issues we all face. And you all know we're not getting that. With all that being said, I don't want anyone to look on that as being negative. I in no way mean it like that. But one of the things I'm most excited about for this year, I've been asked several times this week, Jimmy, what's your big agenda? Well, I'm not a big agenda guy. I just want to work to continue the league. But I am excited about the process of beginning a strategic plan. This plan is going to consist of ways to improve member services, help us all to be more engaged at the Capitol, and to communicate better with our members and stakeholders. One of the biggest things we're going to take on this year is a strategic plan so that the league has a good direction going forward, and we're going to do that. And then also we want to continue to try to collaborate together to make everyone be more informed on social media, and just so we can keep the membership informed about what's going on.
Our final award was chosen by the judges as the best overall application for 2015. Will the city of Tupelo please come forward for the Tornado Calls Up Tupelo Spirit project? On April 28, 2014, an F3 tornado struck Tupelo, leaving in its wake damage to 650 homes and over 50 commercial buildings, with damages ranging from minor to destroyed. From the beginning, the American Red Cross, Salvation Army, and the United Way distributed food and water, prepared sleeping quarters, and readied itself for the huge outpouring of volunteers. The local chapter of United Way took charge of the recovery. The staff worked around the clock to help facilitate the enormous amount of local volunteers. By the first weekend after the tornado, Tupelo had 2,600 people registered to help those in need. By the end of June, the city had seen over 3,100 volunteers come and serve, with 1,900 of these volunteers residing in Tupelo or within 30 miles of the city. Tupelo's outpouring of community spirit was nothing short of incredible. This concludes our Excellence Awards presentation. We always receive many wonderful applications, and all of you are winners for implementing programs that improve the quality of life for your local citizens. If you would be so kind to please give all of our cities a round of applause.
On December 23rd, 2013, two of our police officers in the city of Tupelo were ambushed following a bank robbery in the city. One of those officers was critically wounded and the other was tragically killed. While still reeling from that, on April 28, 2014, an EF3 tornado tore through the city of Tupelo, damaging hundreds of homes and places of business. The submission that we submitted to the MML was in a large part based upon the city of Tupelo, the citizens rallying together to recover from the tornado. We had 3,000 volunteers through the United Way, and then an additional 3,000 volunteers sign up through a faith-based organization called 8 Days of Hope. So over 6,000 volunteers were documented in the recovery process following the tornado. And what we call the Tupelo spirit, just our special blend of civic cooperation and community pride, I think was just showcased and is stronger than ever and really highlighted as the city has rebuilt from the tornado.
It's been a great conference. We expect to have about 2,500 municipal officials, exhibitors, special guests, and it's been just a very positive environment. We've got some people who are excited to be here. They're excited to be able to take some information back to their community and be able to accomplish some of their goals with some of the support that we provide them.
I think local government is there to just make your quality of life better. By increasing the amenities that you can have, trying to keep, it would be impossible for each individual to go out and hire a security guard to stay at their house 24 hours a day. But by pooling together as a community, you can have a police force that looks over everyone. Same thing with fire department, keeping the streets going and things such as that. So it's just really to try and help you increase your quality of life.
We're here to help as a league, and we want people to understand that and engage their communities with us to make Mississippi the great place it can be.
The importance of local government is that we are not here to serve ourselves, but to serve those citizens that elect us to do so.
I just think the public needs to understand that all of our cities are dealing with a lot of services that they need to provide to their citizens. They work 24/7. None of these people are in this for money. They're in it because they want to improve their local community. They're doing it with very limited resources, and they would appreciate support and engagement from the public when they're asking for your input. It's important because they're trying to move your community forward, and the Municipal League does whatever we can to help them do that.
If people have questions, like more information, what should they do?
They can call our office at 601-353-5854, or they can visit our website at www.mmlonline.com.